Hi, my name is Garrett McGrath. I'm back with you again, and now what we're looking at is you're going to graduate to becoming the person who's going to do the presentation in a living room with many people, multiple people there. So let's first of all look at how did we get here. Well, it started off for you in a living room. You saw somebody doing a presentation for a friend of yours that invited you there. You liked what you saw and you decided to launch your own business. When you launched your own business, you weren't responsible for doing that presentation. Really what you did was you chose a launch date, you chose a backup date, and you may even have chosen a third date. And you put a list together, you invited those people, and somebody else did the presentation for you. They probably did the launch presentation, they probably did the backup presentation, they may have even done a third presentation. And during that, you were taking notes, you were learning the presentation, you were feeling comfortable with the process, you saw that it worked, you saw how efficient it was, but more importantly, you saw how much fun it was, and you saw your friends respond to it. Then, so that was in your home. So the goal now is, after that, you got it into your home so you could get it out of your home. And again, those presentations were probably done by somebody else. You again were watching those presentations being done. You were again learning and feeling more comfortable. But at the same time, while that was going on, you were beginning to get a little bit of practice yourself. You had gone to your launch system, you had seen the DVD that's in there, you had learned how to do a one-to-one presentation. And you've probably practiced, you've probably done a few one-to-one presentations. You guys said, I feel very comfortable with that. I really am pretty familiar with the information. I understand when I've got the presentation book, I can use the presentation book very confidently. I can do a great presentation. I can connect with people. I understand it's more about a conversation than ever it is a presentation. In fact, I want the old presenter voice to turn off. You know, as soon as you start presenting, you go, and you get all presenty and all stiff, and you sort of get out of conversation mode. We want to keep them in conversation mode. That's what you got comfortable with when you were doing one-to-ones. And now you're at the point where you feel like you can graduate and actually do the same presentation in front of a group of people in a living room with a whiteboard. But how do you get there? Well, we're going to use this DVD, the presentations that you've listened to, the notes that you have, we're going to put it together, and you're going to become very proficient. You're going to find it very easy. You're going to have fun with it. Before you know it, you'll be up doing it. It's going to be very, very simple. And I want to just create some things that are going to help you to understand this process. The first thing is we're going to practice. Practice, we're actually going to focus on doing perfect practice. And what I mean by that is we'll focus on the presentation. We'll focus on the information. We'll focus on the sequence. In other words, you'll have some crib notes. You'll have maybe a script of what somebody is sharing. So you'll have all of this information to learn how is the presentation structured. In fact, you'll focus on learning the presentation. You will actually practice the presentation, maybe with your spouse, maybe it's with a boyfriend, maybe it's with a girlfriend, maybe it's with your parents, maybe it's with your kids, maybe it's stuffed animals, maybe it's one of your friends and you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm coming over to your house to do a presentation. Or, hey, you're coming over to my house and I'm doing a presentation. You're just going to practice. You may even tell people, you know what? I need to practice. I'm going to do a presentation with you. And I've even had people join the business when we're doing a practice presentation. So it's a great way to get going. Now, when you get to doing your presentation live, you're no longer going to focus on the presentation. You're going to trust that you've done the practice. You're going to trust that you know the information, but you also know, what do you know? You know that no one that you're presenting to has ever seen the presentation before. You know that no one that you're presenting to even knows the sequence in which the presentation is done. They don't know if you put something in. They don't know if you left something out. They don't know if you did something out of order. They don't know if you did a jig and it wasn't meant to happen. They don't even know if you did anything what was meant to go on. They're assuming that you did it all absolutely perfectly. So you can leave the perfection and the presentation and all the worries literally at the door, and you just come in and have fun. Because what it's about is connecting with people. I want to share with you that the realities are is that people buy on emotion and they justify with logic. But the emotional connection is what enrolls them in wanting to be part of the business. And that comes through connecting with them. That comes through having a conversation with them. That comes comes through bringing the dream circle alive in a way that is meaningful to them, that's meaningful to you. It's a conversation. And you already know how to have a conversation. You've proven that every day we speak with people, we connect with people, we have friends. If we have friends and keep friends, we have this ability down. We have then proven we can do it with the presentation book. We have presented to people, we feel very comfortable, we know what's coming next, we can engage, we're not focused on the presentation, it's a conversation. Now we're just taking it to the next level. And the truth is we have all of those skills, so we're just going to learn to relax, enjoy being present, and connecting with people and doing the presentation. As I just said, what they're connecting to is the emotion first. They've decided, wow, I want this to be true. I want my dreams to come true. I want everything that they're talking about, this emotion I'm feeling, to be real. So when you present the logic, they're already on your side. They're looking at what you're sharing with, going, I want this to be true. I hope this is true. They're looking for it. So they're looking for it rather than you having to present it to them. Now you're at this point where we're going to do the presentation. And they're always the same. I mean, every environment is absolutely the same. You come into somebody's living room, you come into their home, there's a little bit of soft jazz playing, you've got some Bozzy glasses out, you've got some Bozzy out. You don't have information, you keep that to the side, you just take it out afterwards. We don't want people reading prior to it. And people do it differently, but I like to do it this way. I like to get everyone to sit down, give them a shot so they can do their shots together. And they say cheers, say schleinte, whatever it is that you want to say. And people go, yeah, that's absolutely great. Then let's do a second one. Everyone does a second shot, but they're doing it together. It sort of creates some energy inside of the room. So we've done that piece of it. But you've got a host. There's somebody that's hosting the evening. And they are also going to be part of the presentation. You want them to practice, but once they've practiced, they want to trust that what they're doing is going to work and it's going to work well. Remember, no one likes to be sold to, but equally, no one likes to be left behind. Now, what does that mean? Well, just imagine that one of your friends get up and said, I'm so excited that you're here. I want you to see what I'm so excited about, but I'm not going to share it with you. The reason that I invited you all here is that Sylvia and I have seen a way for us, first of all, to have Sylvia not to have to go to work. We want her to be able to spend more time with Liam, not have him in daycare, and we ultimately see an opportunity for us to get out of the credit card debt that we have, to stop having the stress we are having in our lives with a big commute, working with a boss that we don't really like, but we work for him anyway because we don't see any other jobs out there today, and the economy's a little tight, and we see an opportunity to do more with the lives. We're very excited about that. Now, what does that do? Suddenly, your friends are seeing that there's a possibility that you're going to get to somewhere where you want to go, and ultimately, they would probably like to get there too. They might have their own place in their own mind, and the details may be different. So remember, no one likes to be sold to, but no one likes to be left behind. Now what happens is, you say, but I'm not going to do the presentation. I want you to see what I'm so excited about. I want to introduce you to, and just introduce them. Just as simple as that, we're working together. You don't have to give them any grandiose introduction. You don't need to create their credibility. They're just up there, they've been doing this business for a while, and they're being successful. And while it could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 hours, it could be 5 days, it could be 5 weeks in the business, it could be 5 months in the business. The stranger is always the expert. When we think about it, it's hard to be a prophet in your own land. You may be a little harsher with your friends than you ever would be with a stranger, so there's just an interesting dynamic that takes place there. And that's why it's very appropriate. In fact, it's very efficient. In fact, it's probably the best way to do it is to have a stranger initially present to your friends so we get some success under your belt, or we create some profit for you, and you've got your own stories that you can share in turn with your other stories of other people that you're able to share as well. So your confidence is up there and you have success underneath your belt. So now where are we at? We're now at the place where you're handed over to this other person who's going to do the presentation, and that would be me. So I'm now that person. I'm going to do the presentation. So what we're going to do is we'll actually just go to that part in the presentation right now.